In this video, I'm going to show you how to take a blank Excel spreadsheet and turn it into a worksheet for accounting purposes. The first thing we need to create is our accounts title row. So in cell reference A3, I'm just going to type in account titles. Now, if you notice, the account titles does not fit within that row, so we need to adjust the row size. I'm just going to click and drag, and I'm going to pick an arbitrary amount, and we'll say 16 pixels. Okay, this column will adjust based on the data underneath it, how long it is. Okay, so the first thing after I create my account titles, I want to make sure I put a bottom border underneath account titles. Notice I have cell reference A3 highlighted. I'm going to come up here and click bottom border. I'm going to move off that cell, and you'll notice I have my account titles. The next thing we need to do is to create a column for our trial balance, ensuring that we have a debit column as well as a credit column. So in order to do that, I'm going to come up to cell reference B2. I'm going to click on B2, and I'm going to drag it over to C2. What I'm going to do is click merge and center, and it brings those two cells together and makes them as one. I'm going to type in trial balance, and I need my debit and credit column. In order to do that, I'm going to go to cell reference B3, and I'm going to type in DR period. I'm going to hit the tab key, move over to cell reference C3, and type in CR period. So I now have my trial balance column with a debit and a credit column within that. Now, I want to make this look a little nicer, so I'm going to highlight my B3 and C3 column. I'm going to come up here and say center text, and it makes everything nice and neat and puts the debits and the credits in the center of these columns. Still not done yet. I want to make sure I have a bottom border underneath debit and credit, and to do that, I'll just click on my bottom border. I want to do the same thing for the trial balance. So I now have my trial balance column with the debit column inside of it and a credit column inside of that. Next, I need to create a column for adjustments. Very easy to do. We're going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to highlight cell D2 and E2. I'm going to click merge and center. I'm going to type in adjustments. And I need to make sure that I have my debit and credit column within those adjustments. So I'm going to type in DR period in cell reference D3. I'm going to tab over to E3, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to enter CR period for credit. Again, I want to make sure that these debits and credits, the text is centered within their respective rows. I want to put my bottom border in for my debits and credits, and I want to do the same thing for adjustments. Once we have our adjustment column, we need to create our adjusted trial balance column. Well, I'm going to do take the same exact steps that I've been doing. I'm going to highlight cell reference F2 and G2, click merge and center. I'm going to type in adjusted trial balance. And I'm going to put my debit column and my credit column within the adjusted trial balance. I need to make sure I have my bottom borders. And then finally, I need to create two columns for each of my income statements, or for each of my financial statements, the income statement and the balance sheet. So I'm going to merge and center H2 and I2. I'm going to type in income statement. I need to create a debit and credit column within the income statement column. I need to make sure I have my bottom borders. And the last balance sheet I'm going to have is the last financial statement I'm going to have is my balance sheet. So I'm going to highlight J2 and K2. I'm going to click Merge and Center. I'm going to type in balance sheet. And within cell reference J3, I need to make that my debit column within the balance sheet column. And I need to do the same thing for the credit. I need to create a credit column within the balance sheet. Again, make sure I have my my bottom borders. And that is how you format a blank Excel spreadsheet into a worksheet.